Hello, I'm Jamie from Gema Powder Coat Equipment, and today what I'd like to do is go through and do a rebuild on an AP01.1. It'll look a lot alike the AP01, but some of the parts will be just a little bit smaller on the AP01. So some of the tools that we're going to need are, we'll need an open-end wrench 16 millimeter, we'll need an Allen wrench 4 millimeter, an Allen wrench 3 millimeter. And then optionally, you can use the disassembling tool. Here's the part number for it if you want to order it. It does not come with the kit. Some of the rebuild kits part numbers are the AP01.1 is here shown. The AP01, the older version is here. The kits that come in will look like this. You'll have the pinch valve, the filters, 4 O-rings, 2 more filters, and then a reassembly tool that'll come with it. This is what it will actually come with. And then it'll also come with a short little manual to show you also. So let's get to it. So the first thing we need to do is take all the fittings apart and take it apart and get it to a workbench. So the first thing that we'll do is the inbound hose. We'll take the fitting off of it, pull it off. Go to the outbound side, take the fitting off, pull the powder hose off. Remove the cable off the bottom, and that is a screw fitting. So you'll unscrew the fitting and then pull it off. And then we'll have 3 8 millimeter lines that need to be taken off with the push to locks. And what I like to do is I like to use a adjustable wrench, and I adjust the wrench to the size of the hose, and then I slide it down the hose and press into the push to lock, and then pull the hose out. I'll do that for all 3 of them. So once I have that taken off, I will take the 2 fittings here, loosen them up. They don't have to be removed all the way, but loosen them up. And then you can actually pull it off the cart, bring it into your workbench so you can actually work on it in a nice clean work area. Make sure you get everything pulled apart and reassembled properly. So starting with the outbound, I like to remove this fitting first. I'm using a left-handed metric adjustable wrench, and just removing this fitting off of it. And then setting it out to the furthest point. And then we can start to remove the top section where the filters and the pinch valves are at. So this is a 4 millimeter. Pop these things loose, removing all 5 of the screws. So once we have all 5 of the screws removed, set them to the side, and now the top section will be pulled apart from the other section. So the bottom section we can start with, there's 2 filters and 4 O-rings. So the tool of choice that I like to use is just a small little pick just to pop these little O-rings out. So they're pretty simple just to pop out if you have the right tool. And getting those out of the way. And then the same thing for the opposite O-rings here with the filters. Here's the 2 filters. We can set those to the side. And then reinserting the new filters and their O-rings. It's best to just push those down into it. Try not to roll around it because you'll stretch the O-ring and it'll be made a little more difficult to put the O-ring in place. So just pressing it down into place is the best, not rolling it around. So those are in place. And the other 2 O-rings. Getting those to seat properly. Then that portion looks like it is all in place at this point, and we'll just set him off to the side for further assembly. So we'll continue disassembling. We'll need the 3 millimeter to take the inbound side off. This is the only area that you'll need the 3 millimeter. So once he's disassembled, Just set him off to the side, the furthest point, and then we'll take our 4mm back up and we'll take some of the long screws out. And this piece will come out, and then we can get the little holder to come out. And this is the pinch valve section. We'll set it to a side, and then we'll turn it over and we'll pull 2 more long screws out on the opposite side. I like to keep everything in order as it came apart. Just makes it putting it back together just a little bit easier. Now that we pull this one out, the whole pieces will come apart completely. These are our 2 filter sections, pinch valve section, pinch valve section. So we'll move along and we'll keep going with the filters. We'll pull the filters out. Here's where the disassemble tool would come in handy right here. I don't have it, but a 7mm nut driver fits right in there perfect and just pops it out of place. Pull the filter out, reinsert the new one. The filter is not directional. You can put it in either way that you want. It does need to go in the way that it came out on this one. So pushing it in and then seating it all the way down so it's flush, and the filter section's done on this one. On the opposite one, it can be pushed out either direction. Pop it out. Pop the new one in. Like so. Keeping it in line in the same direction. So we'll move on to the pinch valve section. This is the more difficult part of removing these pinch valves here. So the easiest way that I find is to really kind of get underneath this piece here. And it may take you a time or two, but what we're trying to do is just stretch this pinch valve out as much as we can. Really get in there until you can get a hold of the whole top of it. And when you have it, just pop it out like that. So this is the first one. It'll come out. We'll just remove it out of the way. We'll grab us a pinch valve and then the tool. So you'll notice that it has to come back in. These 2 ears need to match up. It needs to go back into this hole this way, just like that, and line the ears up. The tool is those little Chinese handcuffs. And you'll just push it over just about like that. And all we're going to do is thread it into here. And then just line those little ears up and just pull them in nice and slowly. It'll go in much easier than it came out. So we'll just slide it in a little bit more. Line it up the way we want it. Once we have it the way we want it, we'll just pull it in nice and easy. So that's one that's in place. Set him down. We'll work on the next one. So again, grab a hold of this small little ear. Reaching down, grabbing a hold a little bit more. Really reaching in. And then once you have a hold of it, just pop it out. Pull it off to the side, grab a hold of the other one. And the tool to put it in. Put it on about like so. Reinsert it in so the ears will line up. You just line the ears up with both sides and just give it some slow pulls. This is a much easier part to actually put it back in than it is to take it out. And then once you have it all lined up, just give it a nice little pull. Puts it right nice in line. Everything will be in good shape for you. So, continuing on, move the tool off to the side. Everything's put back in. Now we just have to reassemble the whole unit back in place. So what we'll do is we'll start with the 2 filters, putting the pinch valves back in place, and we'll just use the 2 long screws to start. Give them a couple threads just to hold them in place. Set it upright, 4mm. And then Just give them a nice little torque down. You can check the manual for the specs. Going to the opposite side, bringing it back over the opposite way. 2 long screws, and this piece here. This piece has just a couple little ears on it, and then you just set it down so both ears will actually fall in place, so the bolt will hold them down in place, just like so. Give them a nice little torque down. Need the 3 mil. Putting the inbound fitting back on. Nice torque on. Just like so. We'll bring in the bottom section, and then we'll put the top section on it. Take the 5 bolts, drop each one in. Four mil back on. Find the one fitting. Maybe we'll use this one. I can see it from here. Get all of them started. All of them are torqued down. We'll put the outbound fitting back on. Tighten it down with my left hand metric adjustable. Nice and tight. And that completes a full rebuild of the AP01.1. Thanks for listening in.